Hello everybody, Jardis here, and in today's video I will be doing a requested video from a SZY Ren who requested a cheap Core Condi Warrior build that uses swords. Now before I get into this, I am going to point out that this will not be the greatest warrior build that can be achieved. I also need to point out to SZY Ren that warriors do not generally have the greatest utilities when it comes to dealing condition damage. So we will be focusing primarily on one or two of those condition damages, such as bleeding and immobilization, versus other condition damage effects such as burning, poison, etc. So this will be a bleeding build, per se. Okay, now to get into this, what we are going to show you first is the equipment. We will be using the Rampager armor set, which is power, precision, and condition damage. We will be using the superior rune of the Renegade to increase our overall condition damage. We will be using two twin talons with sigils of earth and sigils of agony. We will also be using the rabbit spine guard for the back piece, as well as two bone fragments of Tequatl, two Rampager rings, and a Rampager amulet. And all of these trinkets will be equipped with the Crest of the Rabbit upgrade. And if you can go for it, I would strongly suggest the Relic of the Fractal, which will which will inflict burning and torment if we add more bleeding effects to an enemy that has 6 or more stacks already, which we will be doing. Now, I could upgrade both the armor and the weapons as well as the trinkets to a much greater standpoint, but that would probably cost a whole lot more gold, and Mr. or Miss, depending on whichever it is, SCY Ren had requested I try to keep this as cheap as possible. As it stands right now, with this current build setup at the time of this recording, to get all of the armor, relics, armor, runes, weapons, sigils, trinkets, and upgrades would come to a total cost estimated of around 20 gold and 43 silver. That is at the time of this recording. However, those prices may change. Now, for the build itself, we are actually going arms, discipline, and strength. For arms, we are going wounded precision. Gain expertise based on your precision. Well, with the Rampager set, we will be having a lot more precision than we will with any of the other stacks. So yes, we will be getting a lot of expertise based off of that. We will be using the Blade Master. Gain more expertise and gain condition damage while wielding a sword. Sword skills gain reduced recharge. Well, we are using two swords, so this will be handy. And then finally, Furious. Critical strikes grant bonus adrenaline and gain a stacking condition damage effect. Basically, what this is that this will allow us to increase our adrenaline, or at least recharge our adrenaline back up, because we will be using it quite often. For the discipline, we will be using Warrior Sprint. Run faster while wielding melee weapons, which we will be doing, and deal increased strike damage while you have swiftness. Movement skills break immobilization when used. Well, this basically just allows us to get up to our enemies a whole lot quicker. We will be using Destruction of the Empowered. Deal increased strike damage per boon on our target. This basically is just a damage buff in case we go up against a target that has a lot of boons on them. And then finally, Burst Mastery. Burst skills deal more damage, grant swiftness, and restore a portion of adrenaline spent. Remember how I was saying that we will be using our adrenaline skill, which is considered a burst? Well, that combined with this will not only deal more damage, but also restore our adrenaline, as well as this one as well. And for the strength, we will be going for peak performance, deal increased strike damage, physical skills, further increase all outgoing strike damage for a period of time. Well, these are mostly all physical anyway, so they will basically be giving us some increased strike damage overall. We will be using Body Blow. Stuns, dazes, knockbacks, pulls, pushes, and launch effects inflict bleeding and weakness. This is a must for this build because, again, we will be focusing primarily on dealing bleeding damage, and a lot of our skills, especially our kick and our bull's charge, count towards the body blow because they are both stuns, knockbacks, pulls, and pushes, etc. So they will be afflicting bleeding and weakness as well. And then finally, we're using Berserker's Power. Gain increased strike damage when using a burst skill. This damage increases based on your adrenaline. Again, this will become very important because combined with the burst mastery, which will gain our adrenaline back, as well as granting bonus adrenaline when we do a critical strike, means that we will be using this a little bit more often. Now for the selectable skills, we will be using to the limits. Heal yourself and regain all adrenaline. Basically, this is a reset for our adrenaline so we can use our burst skill more often. Kick, with 3 charges. Because of the fact that, again, combined with the body blow, this will be dealing bleeding as well as removing our stuns. Or, excuse me, this will be a stun break, is what I meant to say. It also gives us a decent Defiance break bar just in case. We will be using Signet of Fury to increase our precision and therefore increasing our expertise. We will be using Bull Charge, which again is the same as the kick, because again, with the body blow, it will be dealing a lot of bleeding as well as giving us the best break bar Defiance that we can get in this build. And then finally, we will be using Signet of Rage to grant adrenaline while we are in combat, once again to refill our adrenaline to use our burst skills even more. Now to show you how this build works, I am currently at the Creeping Crevasse just west of the Shipwreck Peak waypoint in Verdant Brink, which is part of the Heart of Thorns expansion, and I'm going to be going after this hero point that you see beneath me. Now there really is no real rotation to this build, other than just pretty much swing away with everything and try to get your adrenaline up as fast as possible and then using it.
Eat my dust! I need healing. Seriously.
And there you go. And as you can see, they went down pretty quickly because of the amount of bleeding that I inflicted upon them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to use this build or share it with others who are interested in building a bleeding warrior. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Happy gaming!